Alright people, what's going on today? This is New Era Gardener, and we're outside today, and we're going to do a couple videos, show a couple of quick things, and I'm going to mix up some garden stuff that I use for uh, for my peppers. Um, so first I want to show you the active biochar that I make all the time. Alright, so this is the active biochar that you guys see me make all the time. And as you can see, that's active biochar. You can see the fungi on the biochar, which is bigger pieces, and that's what I want to really put in with my peppers because that's going to help out. So bigger pieces. So that's what we're looking for. Good moisture. So I'm happy with that. So we're going to add this. This is going to be another portion of what we add into the mix. So, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can put what you want in there. You know, they say 5%, but it just depends. These are big pieces, so that's about what I'm gonna add. Because I'm only doing half of the pot, I'm not going all the way down to the bottom. That's gonna be good enough for me. So this is the pot I'm using. I can't tell you how many gallons this is, but it's good enough for one pepper. Um, I like to use a bigger pot when I'm doing the tomatoes. So I'm going to take half of this dirt out. And that's about good for me. That's about a little less than half the pot. So that's good for me. And I'm just going to mix it up real good. And we know it's got everything in it. It's got kelp in it. It has um, alfalfa meal. It has rock dust. There are some bigger pieces of stick, but that's fine for me. It's a pepper plant. I'm not worried about that. So I'm just mixing it up real good. So you just want to really mix it up real good so that you get it incorporated. And this is really gonna really help the plant out. And I'll come back and show you from time to time, see what we look like. Either I'll just do a live video from it, or I'll do just some pictures of it. This also is, it's not chicken manure. This is bone meal, kelp, um, and some other things that I actually started using this. So I'm not going to mix it in, but at the bottom where I'm going to put the peppers, I'm going to put a little bit. Just going to put a little in there, mix it in. So as the roots start to go down, it immediately has something good. So it's got blood meal in it. So it's something that's going to benefit the plant. So that's what you want to do. So, and I just have some regular green bell peppers. And I'm going to start putting this back into the pot. As you can see, just going to start putting it back into the pot. And that's what we're looking like. And that's what we're going to do. And that's pretty much it. Let me grab my peppers. These are just green sweet peppers. That's what they look like. Nice, healthy, big plants. I didn't get a chance this year to do the plants myself, so I had to go to the garden center and purchase my own. And I like to plant my peppers just right here at this first set of leaves on the bottom. So, and if I use one of my bigger pots that trees might have came in that I get from landscapers, you know, I could put 2 peppers in there, but I'm going to put 1 pepper in there, and I will water this in and give it a good watering and sit it out in the sun. I get full sun in the backyard, so up by the deck, so everything will look good there. It'll do extremely well there. So, all right. And I'm going to do the same thing to the next pot. Then I'm going to put another pepper in, and we'll kind of go from there. As you've seen, I did use quite a bit of what was out of it, but because the biochar actually has quite a bit of dirt already in it, it actually some of these are a little too big for me. So, and once again, on the bottom, I'm going to add this in, and this is Nature's Growers. And it's a 8, 5, and 4. So it's got everything you need, a little nitrogen. And I didn't put too much in there, just a little bit. So, once again, we do have biochar in there already, but I'm actually going to add a little more in. Mix it up really good. And kind of go from there. And believe it or not, this soil that's in that pot is soil from last year. And you would be surprised, due to when I made this last year, there was compost in it, worm castings, and a lot of minerals in there. So adding the biochar in is going to give it another level. So, all right, so here's the pot that we're going to be adding it in. Just going to put it right back in. And I like to fill the pot up pretty good. So, as you start to water your plants on a regular basis, it'll start to go down. So that's good for me. And that's what it is. The roots aren't too bad on this one. But that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to open that up a little bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of nature in there. And a handful of raw biochar down right at the roots. And I'm just going to backfill it, push it down. Then I'm just going to water it. So that's what you want to do when you're adding your biochar. And we know the biochar is active and it's going to give it a lot of nutrients as you water it. It's going to give you the nutrients that you want. So that's pretty much it that I do when I do it, but I just want you guys to see adding the biochar into it, and everything should be good, a little bit of minerals, and as it starts to take off, then I'll add other minerals to it, and we'll go from there. So this is New Era Gardener, and this is just using a little bit of the active biochar. I mean, and as you see, I still have quite a bit of the mix in the biochar that I mixed in here. And I'll just top off some of my plants that we already planted with it and kind of go from there. I got one more pot, but it's a little bigger, so I can't put it up here on the table. But that's what we do. Alright? Alright guys, I appreciate it. Have fun gardening with biochar. Alright, it's New Era Gardener. Take it easy. Alright, what's up people? What's up? What's up? This is New Era Gardener. And we're going to get going with the second part of this video. Yesterday I did a video on planting my tomatoes, adding biochar. And as we know, biochar has a lot of nutrients in it. And it helps deliver a lot of nutrients to the plants. So this is some soil I had, which was last year's soil. I don't throw it away. If I have a problem with any type of disease, then yeah, I might throw that away. But there was no problem with disease in this particular soil, so I just reuse it as much as we can. So, so what I got here is some soil from last year. It's probably a couple of gallons, and as you know, I make my own homemade biochar. And as in yesterday's video, I actually added the chunky nuggets to the peppers. And that holds a lot of the nutrients that I actually add to it. I add the rock dust, the kelp. Sometimes I add in different meals like the bat guano and things like that. But this particular one is the normal one I make all the time that you guys see. So I can't say this is 5%, but it's enough to add into it because it's fine. So you got more nutrients in here because it's fine, and the concentration is in the soil. So I'm just gonna add this in, and we're gonna mix up the soil. I already took the liberty of doing one tomato plant already, adding the biochar. So this is the biochar, and I'm just gonna mix it up and mix it into the soil. It's not a ton, but you just want to add about 5%. Tomatoes do very well with the biochar, so the active biochar. And you know, everybody has their own suggestion about the biochar as far as activated or non-activated. I think if you're putting it into your soil ahead of time before you're going to be planting your plants and you're adding your other nutrients into the soil, or you're doing it in the fall time, it actually has a lot of time for it to kind of actually activate itself with the nutrients that's in your soil. So this is just, for me, it's fine. So that's what we actually did. So I have a pot here, and I'm going to use a big pot like I was telling you guys yesterday. I like to use a big pot for the tomatoes. The tomatoes, as we all know, their roots just go crazy. And if you put in too small of a pot, it becomes root bound. So I like to put it in a big pot. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to add a little bit of fertilizer to it, which is Nature Safe. It's called Nature Safe, and it's actually got blood meal, feather meal, meat meal, and potash. And if I didn't say blood meal, so that's what you have. And I'm going to add some of that in there also. So I'm going to grab my pot, and then we'll start to fill the pot with the soil. All right, give me a second. All right, so this is our pot. As you can see, it's a big pot. Trees come in bushes and things like that. I like to reuse them. At the bottom, I actually put in some mulch, which is all type of bark. So I let it sit for a while. But this will also get fungi built up in your soil. And then next year when I go to use it again and I let it sit, I mix it all into the soil and you're actually going to get that. So I'm going to add a little more soil because that's not enough. And believe it or not, a lot of this soil already has biochar in it from last year, and it has granulated bone meal and granulated rock dust. So some of it's still in there. It doesn't break down like we think it breaks down like other nutrients. So, so that's that. I'm gonna add what we mixed up. And like I said yesterday, I like to fill it up pretty much quite a bit. So I'm just gonna pull back the soil a little bit. And I'm gonna add a nice handful of Nature Safe. Kind of mix it in down towards the root zone. Then I'm just going to cover it up. That's pretty good. Then we're just going to make our little hole here, just so that the root zone gets some nutrients quick. Add a little more. And the tomatoes that I'm actually planting tonight are Jet Star. So they're a nice tomato. Get a nice meaty tomato from that. It's not too acid, so it's a good tomato. So that's what we're gonna do. And once again, tomatoes, they will shell out roots throughout the whole time. So you definitely want to plant it a little deeper than anything else. So that's pretty much it. That's all you want to do, and you want to make sure. And then what I'll do is when I actually they start to really take hold, I'll add worm castings to the top, and from time to time some compost and some tea. So I'll make some compost tea, feed them this, and that'll actually help them kind of get off and going. So, but we're gonna water these in real quick. So you just want to give it a good watering. I have the other one over here, which I'm going to water that into. So also just so then also I have the tomato cage, which I will put in as it starts to really take off. And that works out well. So that's all you really want to do. But that's adding rock dust to the tomato plants, which I use the fine active biochar, which I appreciate the purchases I get on it. It works good. And if you're watching the video and you purchased actually the biochar, whether it's the fine or the regular, give me a shout. Let me know how it worked for you, if it did what you expected it to do or not. But I've seen great success with it. And we'll come back and we'll actually follow these plants, see how they take off, and show you exactly how they're doing. Alright, this is New Era Gardener. I appreciate you watching the video. And come back, check out the channel, see what we have to offer. Alright, thanks. Enjoy the rest of your evening.